Entry log 2210-5-21-A11000. Time and again I see things in a manner that confuses me and forces a form of depressive obsession towards that understanding that I have quote-unquote gained. Or perhaps it is merely a cranial canon of which I have latched onto so feverishly that I believe it to be a factual understanding in regards to whatever material may be in question. For example, man as we understand it and dinosaurs coexisting. Our species, in its constant grotesque hunger for power, defeating and pushing dinosaurs into extinction due to their inability to counter our advanced evolution. This is the theory of which I play with. Altogether, it's not quite possible in accordance to current scientific discovery, but that leads me into my following theory of contemplation for us today. What if that which the human mind imagines is nothing more than a glimpse into another alternative reality? This theory is somewhat inspired by the multiverse concept that the TV show Rick and Morty plays with in their universe. The concept is also utilized here in Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, with the Nazi regime succeeding in the war and creating a strong foothold in the greater part of Europe and the USA. Despite the Allied powers conquering the Axis powers, in our known reality, the itch of what if at the back of many great minds have stirred inspired stories of an epic nature for all to enjoy. And this is much of like how video games as a whole are. They are glimpses into alternate realities from the minds of the development teams hell-bent on showing us, and you in general, how awesome their creation is. In the future, not the ever so distant one either, I desire to create a game, one that will awe-inspire countless millions from all areas of the gaming world. How are you gonna do this? Nobody likes games these days. Everyone's really picky and whatnot. Well, let me tell you, a world not so vast as it is intricate. The purest form of beauty not found in how much you are capable of seeing, but rather in how well you understand that which you do see. An enclosed space, which anyone can experience exactly what they desire while equally sharing in what I wish them to see through what I have created for them. Examples for you, let's see here. For instance, you launch a game, and the first thing that comes to mind is, what do I desire to accomplish? What is my end resulting goal in this game that I'm about to play? Many have a story for you. Others just say, here, go jump in and compete with others that are trying to be the best at this game, which would essentially be the end goal for any competitive style game as well. Why not ask the game? What do you wish most to enjoy in this moment? Do you wish to go exploring? Do you wish to go hunting? Do you wish to go fighting? Are you looking for a mystery? Are you looking for a horror? Are you looking for an adventure? These things are everything that the game can answer for you. Or, rather, alongside you. Because this is, after all, your story. Now, for instance, in a game that I am personally very much excited for in the upcoming months to, I would expect, years before it's actually being released, is Beyond Good and Evil 2. If we wanted to, so we're gonna, take a little break here and go over to E3. With E3 now, my expectations going into this E3 were very low. There was very little to be desired. Very few games with which I wanted any more information or any less information outside of an actual just official release date. Now that being said, none of the titles that I was most excited to find at E3 this year ever showed up. Death Stranding, PS4 exclusive by Koji Kojima and fam. That game needs a release date in my book. That release date was not to be found. And then another title that is a bated breath on many fans' minds, it would be Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 has been teased for many years now at every E3 conference, and for some reason they have yet to release any form of a release date or any actual content to hold dear. So we wait. And then finally, one of the games that I'm actually looking forward to before we get into the nit and grit of what I'm going to end up spending most of our time on today, Days Gone. Days Gone is a zombie-style game, survival-esque. It looks like with a bit of a story-driven focus. It's a upcoming PS4 exclusive, going to be released, I believe, if memory serves, it was the end of this year, if not February of 2018. Days Gone, in many ways, by the gameplay trailer that was shared at the E3 conference of Sony's, it's going to be the Horizon Zero Dawn Zombie Apocalypse Edition. That's kind of what I'm getting the vibe with. Now, is that going to be a bad thing? I don't think so. I do believe it will be a very nice breath of fresh air for the zombie game style of that people enjoy. How Left 4 Dead brought in a specific game style with zombies, and it kind of fizzled out and burned that style out. And then Dead Island brought a whole other game style, and that kind of burned it out too. Dying Light gave us a little more. There's a wider range of things you can do with zombies by adding parkour into it, and the zombies follow you, utilizing parkour as well. And that was awesome. Days Gone seems to take it to the next level, the level of World War Z, as it were, where the zombies just straight gun for you. The moment they see you, the moment they hear you, they are running in droves to your feet to eat them. If not, the rest of you as well. Now, that being said, the one title that I was most excited for and most surprised to see this year at E3 was Beyond Good and Evil 2. Now, the downsides of Beyond Good and Evil 2 are this. First, the original title, that the sequel, for all intents and purposes, the sequel being made for Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil was made in 2003. That is nearly a 15-year-old title that is being given a sequel, which in this case, according to the announcement of the developing team, creative director, and I believe the head designer or of some sort. I don't remember what her role was anymore. I need to look that back up though. I'm getting a little obsessive with this game so far, and it hasn't even really been developed, which again we'll get to. So, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is going to be set in the past, before the events of Jade and her team in Beyond Good and Evil. This being said, the trailer gave us a depiction of a vast, sprawling city with an Indian style behind it, much along the same themes as the first game have in their architecture, which I thought was very nice. It also hailed just about every species and race that was quirky and bizarre as far as the sci-fi universe that is Beyond Good and Evil. It gave a good quick hail to pretty much all of the races in that trailer as well. Plus, they added a few extras. There is a monkey of some sort of cybernetic / biological combination, and according to some of the dialogue in that, they are hinting at the fact that the monkeys could have been also some form of a pet or slave, because one of the comments was it was a domesticated, and they didn't want to deal with them. And then the monkey kind of just laughed and said he's his own person. And I was like, very good, learning from experiences. And after that, we kept moving forward throughout the rest of the trailer. It had some really cool action scenes, and then it got to the very end where they come up to across a woman with green eyes, who I believe full-heartedly, yeah, we're going to stick with it and keep moving forward, that the woman with the green eyes would be Jade's mother, or at least a relative of Jade's, which is going to be fantastic, because there is some information in Beyond Good and Evil that alludes to a certain level of ability for Jade that I would like to know the origin behind how she was given this ability in the first place, which I do sincerely hope Beyond Good and Evil 2 will answer. And that being said, if Beyond Good and Evil 2 as a prequel becomes rampantly popular, I do hope as well that we will get a follow-up game that will actually be the sequel titled to Beyond Good and Evil, the ending of Beyond Good and Evil, which at some point in our time together, we will go through that game together, and I will explain all of it to you all, because it is perfect. Now, that being said, let's carry on. Okay, so what I'm really hoping for is that the Beyond Good and Evil 2 prequel that is being released in the upcoming years will give enough to the fans of old and fans of new fans to bring in more and more and be successful to bring an actual sequel into the series, because the ending of Beyond Good and Evil proper left a giant gaping question mark that cannot be answered in a prequel, can only be answered in a sequel. So therefore, I do hope wholeheartedly that we will see far more in that than in the prequel as an additional setup, I guess you could say, for the sequel of the game. Now, moving on to the overall company standings in my head after E3. EA is dead. EA is nothing. EA is meaningless. EA is garbage. Sony is kind of just sitting back on their laurels. I'm not really entirely sure what Sony is planning on doing with their life at this point. It's a little disappointing to see them just sit back and do nothing, not really talk about any of their major titles that are going to bring their fans to attention and focus and excited screaming from the stands. So Sony was kind of lackadaisical this year at E3. The big guns came out with Microsoft and their Xbox platform. The Xbox One X is the upcoming console for that series. They are bringing 4K to a native state in the new console, as well as VR capability, bringing Bethesda's announcements into the conversation here, where they also had Skyrim VR, Fallout 4 VR, and Doom VR all announced for this upcoming fall releases. On top of that, we had a Wolfenstein 2, which is going to be taking us to America to rectify the Nazi regime from American soil, as well as an Evil Within 2. All of these titles look fascinating in their own rights, but I'm really only truly excited for Wolfenstein 2. Other than that, there was a decent world reveal trailer, E3 world reveal trailer, that is, for World War II, Call of Duty. And Call of Duty is near and dear to my heart. I do love that series very much so. Has been dead in my head for about 5 years now, since Call of Duty Ghosts. Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Ghosts era. Didn't really stick with me much after that. So I'm hoping with their return to their roots and their focus on the reason they started and why they were good in the first place will bring all of what they are back to the fans and reignite the love that we all felt towards them in that regard. So today is merely a hello, a beginning of a conversation, one that I hope will stand the testament of time. Now, and also time being that companion that goes along with us on that journey, reminding us to cherish each moment, because it will never happen again. What we leave behind is not as important as how we have lived. And those are some wise words from our captain. This has been a Silverface Studios production. The use of any names or materials is completely unprotected and free for use, but don't be a dick. The voice of our show is Face, written, rewritten, and then written again by Anonymous. The future is bulletproof, the aftermath is secondary. Until next time.